welcome this week's Rinkside Report. I'm Rob Staggenborg with her.
Caitlin Roche.
I'm co-host, and we're going to be talking some hockey today. And Caitlin's got playoff hockey. You know, you're buzzing about your Bruins. Boy, had a big win, and they're really turning the corner. But we talked about them last week. We got to talk about the big hit. I mean, everybody's talking about the Mark Scheifele hit on, was it Jake Evans, just laid him out. And I got a lot to say about it, but I'm going to just start with you. What was your take on the whole thing?
You know, it's late in the game. The Canadians already had the game. The Jets pulled out their goalie. He wraps around the net and puts the puck already in the net and then completely gets wiped out, right? My take on it was I wish he would have been a little bit more aware of who was coming at him. It looked like right before he wrapped around the net, he checked to make sure like who was coming or see what the pressure was that was coming behind him. But when he wrapped, he just kept his head down. He wasn't looking up. He wasn't playing any kind of defense. It's unfortunate that Scheifele followed through the way he kind of did and didn't really play the puck. But it's the sport. The Jets coach kind of was obviously trying to back up Scheifele and saying, you know, it's a heavy hit. But at the same time, you have to go for the puck in that situation. I know there was a lot of frustration in that game coming into it, but, you know, looking at all the history that the season has already seen with these heavy, crazy hits, you have to know that you're going to be held accountable, especially in this year, in this season, that everything's going to be looked at under a microscope, and he's being held accountable, right? That's the league. I think 4 games is a solid. I think max was 5 games, but he said in an interview recently, I think it was this morning, that he was surprised that it was 4 games, and his reaction was he didn't think it should have been 4 games. Technically, what do you think? Would you think it was a clean hit? Did you think it was unnecessary? What did you think, Rob?
You're about to see me get triggered a little bit because we were on I guessed on the Blue Note Fan Report, as you know, with our good friend Guy and Lance and those guys. And we had a really hot discussion last night about the Mark Scheifele hit. And, you know, my take was that, hey, man, that's hockey. You know, put your head up, dude. Put your head up. That was a goal. That's a playoffs. And the other thing, it's game 1 of that series. And I think the Jets wanted to send a message. Hey, you're not playing the old broken down Toronto Maple Leafs anymore. You're playing the Winnipeg Jets. And we flew under the radar all season long because we had to listen to the stuff about the Maple Leafs and listen to stuff about Connor McDavid. But we're a good team and we're here to play. I mean, again, you know, I don't think a lot of people know the team because they don't see them all the time. But Connor Hellebuck is you know, a tremendous goalie. He keeps them in games. I remember seeing Paul Stastny play here in St. Louis for many years, and he played it in Vegas. And he's a guy. Scheifele certainly is a guy that brings a strong game. So for me, I just felt like Mark Scheifele, a guy who's been in the league with 15 years, 16 years, coming up. And again, last night, the guy I was with was showing frame by frame. He's one of those guys. And said, this is where he made the decision to go after him. And I was like, no. The thing is like the guy was wrapping around to put it in the net, open net. Whether or not he should have been contested or not, I mean, I think it was the playoffs, so it's he's playing defense, so whatever. And the fact that he got waylaid kind of is like, well, keep your head on a swivel, man. I mean, come on, this is a big boys game, and it's the NHL. And what surprised me is like I'm like in a total minority here. Like everybody's on the other side, like get rid of him, he's terrible, yeah. And it's like and like I said before, we had a previous guest. It's the public execution of Mark Scheifele. You know, it's the public execution of Tom Wilson, the public execution of Nazem Kadri. You know, it just goes on and on. It's just like fans are so quick to jump on, you know, executing somebody and ruining their career. And it's like, well, wait a minute, maybe that really wasn't as questionable and as egregious of a call. Heck, I've seen calls in games that, or I should say hits in games that didn't even get called where the guy missed half the damn season. You know, it happens all the time. So I get a little fired up about it. And again, I don't want to be like triggered or nothing, but it is. I think it's like, come on, at some point, it's like, are we wussing out? Is hockey starting to become a wussy sport? You know, and I think maybe there's some people who kind of feel like it is. So again, I'm probably in the minority. I get it. And I'm probably a big goon for saying it, but I mean, come on, that's the game, man. If it was if you took Mark Scheifele out and put a different player, let's say you put, Alex Ovechkin, would people all of a sudden say, oh, Ovechkin shouldn't have done that? Not that he would have done that, but, maybe put, David Pastrnak, your guy. What if he did that to somebody? Would somebody, would people have the same
It's
reaction?
hard to compare who would have done what. I think it was situational. It's every hit and every play is situational. I think this specific Scheifele hit was, to me, unnecessary because it was already an empty net. That was out of pure anger, and he already knew he was beat. He already knew he was losing. So to me, it's like that's like a poor sportsman hit, like taking your forearm and your elbow and going up. He knew exactly kind of the hit he was going to be. He could have come in, if he's coming in hot after 4 or 5 strokes of coming in, and just kind of like knew he already scored and bear hugged him, or just like taking him to the side, or just stopped his momentum besides elbowing him to the face. I think there was a lot of different ways he could have gone about it. It's unfortunate that he is getting roasted and his whole family is getting roasted, and people are coming for them right now. And that's what he's kind of asking the public to just stop going after his parents and his siblings. And that's the hard part for me to swallow. And like, that's what makes me feel like, I don't know, people will hide behind their screens, and that's going to be pretty much now until forever. But it's sad that that's the way it is, but maybe like that's the lesson you have to learn. And then the players can also learn from this too. Like, you will suffer the consequences if you're playing this kind of hockey. But I don't want you to say that hockey's going soft, because I don't think it's soft at all. People are making those crazy hits throughout the entire game. Whether it's that kind of situation, no. But it's up against the boards, yeah.
Again, it's one of those things that just, I'm going to take it to my grave. I just really feel like that, what's going on here? It's like, if that would happen at center ice, would that have been the same? Would people have been outraged about it? Was it because it was a goal? Was it because it was Montreal? Everybody loves Montreal. Now Montreal's the pretty boy of the NHL, and everybody's rooting for those Canadians to break through.
Well, especially now they got their reasonings to.
So, but this jumps me over actually to another thing about that's going on. I don't know if you saw earlier in the week. Obviously, everybody knows about the Toronto Maple Leafs losing a 3 games to 1 lead, and getting ousted from the playoffs by the Canadians. So, in Toronto, people are not happy about it. You can imagine. Well, they're putting pictures on Twitter of them burning jerseys, and they actually burned Doug Gilmour's jersey. And Doug Gilmour's a Hall of Famer, very outspoken guy, had a bit of a controversial career, but again, he played a long time. I don't have the stats in front of me, but he kind of came out and said, what are we doing? Like, if you're going to be burning jerseys, like, donate that to a kid shelter, go donate it to a children's hospital, give it to someone who would want it. Like, don't do that to the whole fan base, because now everybody in the world saw that and felt like, wow, what kind of fans they got there. What was your take on that whole deal?
I feel like this has been done in the past, and with the year being 2021, I think cancel culture is hot and steaming, and everyone's looking to cancel someone these days. So for me, it's not surprising that people are getting this hate, and I don't understand the whole reasoning why it was someone's jersey that hadn't been playing for so many years. It wasn't like a relevant jersey in the series, and to me, it's obviously disrespectful, and you're not a real hockey team fan if you're burning your jersey. You're just obviously just a shitty fan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone would want to burn those expensive jerseys out of just frustration that you lost to another Canadian team, that you didn't make the second round again. Okay, I get it. Everyone gets pissed and upset. I mean, look at the Blues. You're not over there burning all your Blues stuff.
Well,
it just doesn't make any sense.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Like acid, but my point is like, there's 30 other teams that are going to feel this way. There's only one champion, only one team wins.
I mean, look at the Ducks. They were in last in the West. You don't see me just like taking all my Duck stuff and just throwing it in the dumpster. I mean, there
Well,
is one thing to like not watch them anymore or not be a fan of them anymore, but just burning your jersey and then posting on social media and then it goes viral and now you're canceled and now all these people are coming after you, giving you a hard time about not
yeah,
donating it to anyone, and there's all these people out there that need things, and it's so relevant and so true. So it's to me it's sad. I've never burnt a jersey, I've never thrown away a jersey. I'm sticking to my teams, and
yeah,
I just get lucky because Boston's just been on a rampage pretty much my entire life. So it's
yeah.
hard
I
for
don't
me
hear
to
it.
cancel
I
them
don't hear
out yet.
Yeah, but you know what? What you do is you just put that jersey in the back of the closet for a little while. You bring it out
Yeah,
maybe after a week.
just let it fermentate, get some dust on it, and just pull it out when you're ready to relive
Yeah.
those days.
I actually had a TJ Oshie Blues jersey for the longest time and just never wore it, but I kept it in my closet. I finally parted with it, but again, things happen. But I mean, the point is like to be a fan, and that's the other thing is when these teams are losing, you're seeing all these posts on social media about, well, you're not a real fan, or you're not a real fan. So now all of a sudden the definition of who's a fan is now being decided by Twitter. And it's, like, come on, dude, I've been watching the game for, I don't want to tell you how many years, but a long time. I'm a fan. I don't care whether you fucking believe it or not. I'm a fan. So I just kind of this whole thing about, people being judgmental about I'm a bigger fan than you, or I know more stats than you, or I know this. And it's like, it's just insufferable, isn't it?
It is, and people want to classify being a fan as knowledge. I don't think that's my definition of being a fan. If you enjoy the sport, if you enjoy supporting your hometown or whatever team you choose to pick, that makes you a fan. Doesn't matter if you've been watching for a year or 30 years. I don't think stats define how big of a fan you are.
Exactly. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this segment. But before I go, I think I mentioned before that I get a little bit of a break next week. I'm on vacation, but I got to tell you this funny story. So I got a couple boys, and my son is 7 years old, and he's in first grade, and they actually still have a couple days of school left. And mom's gonna be traveling, so it's just gonna be me and the boys. And my son's so worried that I'm not gonna pick him up for school on the last day of school. Like he's just like every day, Dad, are you gonna be there? Yeah, I'll be there, I'll be there. So finally I just got kind of tired of him asking. So I said, you know what? If I'm late, just go wait in the office. I'm sure someone would love to stay with you at the last day of school, in the office until he could get hold of me. And I said, and the other thing is just have him call the bar. I'll be at the bar. Well, my kid told his first grade teacher.
Uh-oh.
So my first grade teacher, you know, well, he comes home and says, "Oh, Dad, I told my teacher you weren't going to pick me up because you're going to be at the bar." I'm thinking, "Oh, great, Father of the Year." So if the DFS breaks in, the family services breaks in. They found my tweet. So what I did is like, oh my God, I got to email the teacher. I was like, I said, "Dear Mrs. Blah, I my son told me that you said that I would not pick him up because I was going to be at the bar. I just want you to know there's nothing that could be further from the truth." And then the next paragraph, I said, "I won't be able to pick him up because I'm actually going to be at the strip club. Sincerely, Rob Staggenborg." 2 minutes later, our phone rings and my wife's on the phone. What he did? What? Blah, 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 blah. So I just had some fun with it.
You're in the doghouse?
No, I mean, they had a good laugh over it, but the thing was, it was like within 2 minutes of me sending that email, the teacher called the house and
Oh
was like,
yeah.
"What's going on over there?" So my wife's like, "Oh, my husband thinks he's funny." So hey, it's bad America, man.
That is pretty funny.
It's
And
crazy.
your son roasted you.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
outed
he
you.
told on me too. I don't know what the
Totally
deal
told
was.
on
So.
you.
But I am not going to the bar. I'll be there in line, parent pickup, waiting for him. Probably
Good
listening to
job.
this podcast on my phone. So
And you can
uh,
wave at the teacher and just smile and wave.
Yep, yep, yeah. I made it. I made it. So anyway, listen, I'm gonna go. We're gonna wrap up the segment. It's great catching up with you, and we'll catch up with you guys next time. You got anything going on?
Bruins game. I'm excited tomorrow, and it's game 3, and it's in New York again, and I'm scared.
I know.
It's
I
such an
told you.
anticipated series for me. Last night was just too much. It was 1-0 the entire game. That's just
Mm,
so intense hockey to me.
yeah,
So just keeping up with them, keeping up with you, making more videos, making cocktails, having fun. We love
That's
to see it.
awesome. That's awesome. Sounds good. Well, we're gonna go ahead and close out the segment, this Rinkside report for this week.
Thank you very much.